Guess who got brands talking? Brandlife.co.za.
Good morning, everyone. We are back and you have tuned in with the WITEE Chatterbot show, Women in Tech empowering everyone. And we are coming live from 27 boxes in the Bohemian city of Melville. I'm Carmen Murray, tech visionary and futurist, and joined by my double trouble, Jessica McIndoe, a social media fundi to empower you with some of SA's most inspiring women. Jess, can you believe there's about 55 days remaining of this year, and 13 days are holidays for me?
Oh no, I don't even want to think about it.
I'm like, where has this year gone? Like, it's just absolutely crazy. So today we are joined by our very own digital warrior, May Lalu. It sounds like she's from Honolulu, like Hawaiian. May Lalu.
Well, now, she got the warm weather. It's hot today.
It is. Now, May Lalu, for you guys that don't know, is the head of digital of Nestlé South Africa. Her role focuses on integrating digital into all brand building initiatives whilst adapting to the changing marketplace with e-commerce driven solutions. Welcome, May. It's so awesome to have you here with us today.
Thank you. It's amazing being here. I'm excited.
We're going to try not be a trouble for you.
No, don't make promises we can't keep. Today, guys, we're going to be chatting about breaking the mold as a digital warrior in the really fast-moving age. So really, I think to kick things off is really, let's talk about staying relevant with Nestlé. You've got a very important role leading digital for Nestlé in the most important and yet exciting time. Working in the digital space is not easy, and it is moving at such a fast pace. It's not just fast-moving goods for you, but fast-moving age. So what is your process of actually staying relevant?
For me, I think the biggest thing in my career was being relevant, especially in this industry as well. So the way I do it is I attend many industry events. I keep abreast of global trends, which are very important. We keep thinking that South Africa is behind the curve, but we're actually not. We're getting there quite quickly. And I believe networking with the right people. So I have the fortune of having global counterparts in other Nestlé countries. So networking with them, finding out, what's the in thing, and that's how I remain relevant.
Oh, no, awesome. And I think for us, it's also like networking is key.
Yes,
it's not what you know.
With
it's
the
who
right
you know.
people.
Right people. Like us.
Yes.
Oh my gosh. So, trends. You recently had a very exciting trip to Europe's Silicon Valley, Netherlands, to do, I don't know if it's like a field tour of startups to hear firsthand from the alchemist and how they do what they do. How did this come about, and what was the purpose of this trip? What did you learn?
So I was very fortunate to attend this immersion. I was invited by Popeye Media, Nestlé being a client of Popeye Media.
Oh, wow.
And so it was very exciting. The purpose of the trip was to expose South African digital experts to the trends in technology and the innovation in Amsterdam, being the Silicon Valley of Europe. So it was very exciting, and not only to inspire us, but look at possible business ventures as South African business people. And I'm a firm believer of looking for solutions and tapping into resources outside of what's available to you. So what the Netherlands trip did for us was actually meeting with these guys and seeing how they do business. Wow. And they're innovative, they're thinking out the box. We met with a company called AdBirds, and their philosophy is actually tapping into ex-Googlers from around the world.
Oh, wow.
So not owning those resources, but tapping into talent outside of your network. So that got me thinking, what's the future of the talent marketplace in South Africa and where we're evolving.
Indeed.
And I was exposed to several tech startups and techpreneurs, so it was really exciting. I brought back lots of insights, which I'm hopefully inputting and adding onto my daily role at Nestlé.
Are you going to do a presentation for us?
I did do one for Nestlé, but I will do one.
Oh, that would be awesome. Listen.
Amazing.
I've had the privilege to go to Netherlands to go and teach at a business school there, and I promise you I was so intimidated when I was there because they're so ahead of the curve. Like, it's really hardcore. So what did you learn from the Dutch?
So what didn't I learn from that? That's the question. They have this test and learn mindset. They're always trying out new things, and they're not afraid to fail. They
Yeah.
also adopt a very collaborative mindset. So tapping into resources that I mentioned, and not just working within their structure, but outside. So that's what I learned, how can we actually build teams with people that we don't own,
Yes.
How can we go beyond what we have to expand our resources?
No, for sure. And they're also very big on social media. Like social media is a big deal for them.
And it was shocking, like their media spend, digital is probably about 90%.
Wow.
Really?
That's
It's
exciting, actually.
It's massive because they're actually dealing with a shrinking target market watching TV, because the guys that were watching TV are actually millennials now,
Yeah.
and they're going to other platforms, digital platforms, to consume that kind of content.
And I think somebody told me that apparently also Netherlands. I'm going off topic a bit. Sorry, but in Netherlands apparently the startups are quite supported. And they really make sure that these people are catered for and that they have the ability to have a cushion.
Yes. So they have something called like these angel startups that actually fund these tech startups.
Wow.
So they basically fund their research. So if you have an idea as a startup and you go in, they actually fund your research and how do you launch it to market.
Yeah.
And there's like stuff where they support you with your tax for 2 years, so you don't need to pay, or it's very reduced, just so you get in there. That's how they believe in actually bringing in the technology and that entrepreneurial kind of thinking in Netherlands.
Awesome. So it sounds very like around ideation and
Yes.
helping that grow, which
It
is just
is.
fantastic.
It
Do you think
is.
the businesses here would jump at that opportunity in South Africa, or are we going to be a little bit slower to market?
I think so. I mean, there are some trailblazers like you guys as well.
Yay.
So definitely, I mean, the Innovate group, they ran this whole kind of excursion for us. So they've run like fintech immersions for discovery. So it's about exposing South Africans to that kind of thinking. So I definitely believe there's an appetite for it.
Oh, fantastic. Cool. And I mean, really, if we're having a look, we're seeing a lot of interesting things happening in our market. I know I said about like we're taking a little while to get there, but we are that entrepreneurial mindset. What trends are you honing into, and what's going to be your focus now for 2018, since it's nearly the end of the year?
It's scary how the year has
I
started.
know.
Yeah.
It's insane.
So the trends, we're looking at that's coming up is artificial intelligence. That's like the new buzzword for everyone.
Yes.
And coming out of that is programmatic buying, bots, adaptive content, personalized content, and ad blocking, which is very scary for us. Because as consumers get more informed, they want to actually consume the content they want within their feeds.
Correct.
And looking at talent marketplace disruption, that's a big one. And virtual currencies as well come, and we were speaking about this earlier.
Yes.
So with Bitcoin and what's the future of banking, I think these are big trends that are going to come and hit South Africa.
Very exciting. I mean, I was further to May's point, I was watching a show yesterday where they were talking about Bitcoin, and it blew my mind. Like, although I'm a very big fan of it, they were talking about by 2025 how Bitcoin would be a necessity for each business. It's going to help with the bot fraud. It's going to really disrupt in the space. And I almost see it like the M-Pesa, where it's taking mobile money to a completely whole new level. And it's very interesting to see how we're only talking about this now, but the market is already, and there's so many millions of people that's been doing it since 2014. So we are actually behind for once in our lives. But yeah, no, it's very interesting. In terms of technology, so you have the gift of being creative, but also have a huge passion for technology. So we could be soul sisters. What technologies?
No, you definitely are.
What technologies do you use in your tech toolbox for your campaigns, measurability, and what's on your wish list for 2018?
Yes, that's true. We could be soul sisters. We are currently obsessed at Nestle with putting the consumer first with everything that we're doing.
love it.
So we make use of various tools, but the one that's going to evolve the way we do business, also deal with our big data issues and personalize our content is something called Consumer 360. So that's integrating our call center data with our digital data so that we start profiling and we're speaking to our consumers in a personalized way.
Hyper-personalization.
So hyper-personalization.
Love
So
it.
that for me is the most exciting tool that we're using. We're still at the infant stages, but we're busy rolling out these several tools, so that we better mine our data that we're getting from social, from web, from mobile, because the biggest problem is big data and how do we manage that. So we're getting there. So
No, that's awesome. That's like really close to my heart, that whole hyper-personalized approach and everything else.
Exactly.
Especially with when you said about like all the ad blocking and stuff coming, like to be
yes.
that targeted that somebody wants to see that ad at that time.
but not being stalker-ish. That's
Yes.
Yeah.
No, agree. And I also think that when it comes to programmatic buying, I also think that it's paramount that you do hyper-personalization and you really understand the DNA of the person you're trying to talk to, because otherwise you surface on websites and you're talking to people that's not really aligned with what you do.
Exactly.
And the efficacy of your brand is jeopardized by that. So very important. So it's a great way to start. And tell me a little bit more about, wanting to, putting the consumer first. What have you guys been doing so far, if you could share a bit with us?
Yes. So we have a very a robust communication process. We start with understanding who's our consumer, first of all. So we have a workshop. We actually have in-home immersions as well to understand who is this consumer.
Yes.
And then that's basically the foundation of all communication. We do a lot of listening as well to find out what are consumers saying about our brands and how can we react, how can we make our brands better so that we actually enticing brand love. So it's a whole lot of initiatives that we're busy working on at Nestle, but we always believe that the consumer is the heart of our brands. In fact, they own our brands. We no longer own those brands.
Yeah.
So it's interesting to see how these brands will evolve in time.
And also, you live in the chocolate factory. like I went to go and see Maine. It's like we walk in and it's like hot chocolate and it's like chocolates everywhere. How are you dealing with a very clean eating type of consumer out there? How do you still stay relevant to a consumer like that?
So part of Nestle and our pillars, an important part of it is nutrition, health, and wellness. So that's how we bring in wellness to our consumers. So yes, chocolate is there to indulge and enjoy, but we also believe in portion guidance. So you can have your Kit Kat, but the one finger is actually for your portion for the day. So that's the kind of messaging that we're actually educating our consumers with. And all of our brands within our staple, we have the dairy portfolio where we're doing the milks and stuff for kids with fortified ingredients in it. So it's all these things that we're actually equipping our consumers with to make sure that nutrition is part of their lives as much as they enjoy our products that are.
Okay, I hear you one finger though, but when I sit with a slab of Nestle, I have to eat the whole thing in one go.
I don't even buy the four. I buy like the big,
the extra.
dark chocolate one. Oh my gosh, it's my obsession. But just another quick question. So, you probably have a huge audience, kids. How do you reach out to parents when you are restricted to communicate to kids? How do you? Because I think it's a challenge for many industries, is that if you have a market that specifically caters for the children, how do you conquer that?
Yes. So we follow a marketing to children policy that actually says what we can and cannot do. So certain brands we cannot, although it's like for kids, we rather speak to mom instead. So that's how we get around that. So it's actually being innovative with your communication, where you're speaking to the right, at the end of the day, yes, there is pester power from kids, but mom is the one that's buying the products in store. So we tell our communication to suit mom and dad as well.
I think it's important. I think I'm also from like a mom perspective. Like if you mess with the mommy, you're in big trouble.
Exactly.
So it's awesome to have those policies and things in place as well. So I think what we're going to do now is, like we've obviously chatted a lot, we're going to take a little break, and you can hashtag WITEE Show, WITEE Show, ask May a question. All right, see you in a bit.
You're listening to brandlife.co.za, an industry first in the world of internet radio. Not only are we an internet radio station, We're an internet radio platform for your brand. So why not expose your brand to potentially thousands of listeners and improve your customer relationships and brand equity with podcasts and live broadcasts? Be sure to check brandlive.co.za for more information. brandlive.co.za, harnessing the power of internet radio.
Welcome back to the Hashtag WITEE Show. I'm Jessica McIndoe, and I'm here with Carmen Murray, my partner in crime, and May from Nestle has joined us. And we've been talking some very sort of forward-thinking marketing facts and moving forward for 2018 because the year is coming to an end quite quickly. We've been chatting as well because you are a mom, and obviously you started out from oops. Well, you never know. I've got a little bit of gypsy blood.
Okay.
Would you tell us a little bit about your career and how did you make it to where you are now?
So I started my career as a graphic designer. I worked for the country's leading in-store retail marketing agencies. I started it in Durban. And then I moved to Johannesburg. I moved into packaging design, and I did a bit of web design, copywriting as well. So a whole mix of things. And I worked in the agency environment. I then moved into telecoms, and that's when my flair for technology actually began.
Okay, cool.
I worked for iBurst. And I received a great opportunity to move to Nestle in 2011 as a designer. So I started as a packaging designer. I used to design the chocolate portfolio, so the confectionery and chocolate. It was amazing and exciting.
Awesome.
And I quickly progressed in my career at Nestle. And with the support of my managers, I moved into digital marketing. And Nestle has been great with supporting my career progression. So when I joined digital, it was a very tiny part of the agenda for Nestle. I ran several digital capability programs, putting in digital at the agenda of our Exco team. And
awesome.
I think looking back, I've achieved what I set out to, but it doesn't end here.
Yes.
So the next is who do I pass the baton on to continue that journey.
Oh, no, awesome.
I love that. That's amazing. I think just to that point, you also recently spoke at the Women in Digital conference. I think it was at Gibbs, and we were talking on the topic of women leading profit-driven marketing. And maybe you can share with our audience your views. You have this theory around eat, pray, love, which I love. So maybe you can tell us a little bit more about that.
Yes. So the whole thinking behind Eat, Pray, Love is, profit-driven marketing. It's so intense. And Eat, Pray, Love, the movie, you need to find your zen somewhere. So for me, I always refer to that. But the analogy that I used is, a brief so delicious that you could eat it, creative so divine you could pray on it, and a media plan that'll make you fall in love.
Aww.
So these are basically the supporting elements to build, that ideal campaign so that you meet those objectives. It's very important to have a good supporting team, tracking the correct KPIs for success. And also, this is not a clean-cut formula, knowing what your objectives are and ensuring that these supporting elements are there will move you in the right direction.
No, awesome. I think one of the things that you just said there as well is it's about the team that's supporting you. So what is the secret to managing different teams? Because, there's your teams, your agencies, and just aligning them with your vision, but also collaborating to get the best from your team.
Yes. So I work with multidisciplinary teams locally and globally as well. And I think it's important to have the picture of success in your mind and sharing that with the rest of the team. I'm a firm believer of treating everyone with the same respect, you'd expect to receive from them. So sharing your vision up front and making sure everyone's on the same page, that's important. When mistakes happen, quickly course correct and learn from them and move on. I'm also truly a believer that everyone needs to work in their own unique way. So bringing in diversity and thinking to the team will make the magic happen.
Oh, no, awesome. Yes. I know that making the magic happen.
Yes.
Okay, so I'm a big fan of Sheryl Sandberg, and she refers to the statement, are you going to be on the menu or do you choose to sit at the table? And if you had to put that in context in your own career, how would you advise our audience to be more assertive and sit at the table and have their voices heard?
So, to be completely transparent, it was very hard for me to transition from being a designer behind my Mac into digital marketing. It meant interfacing with several big personalities and people and leading multidisciplinary teams. I had to learn very quickly that in order for me to do my job, my voice had to be heard. I went from sitting at the back of the room and to making my presence felt and pushing myself into uncomfortable situations just to learn and grow as a person. So I think challenge the status quo. I have been in meetings being the only female in the room and making sure my voice was heard. So it was uncomfortable, but I needed to do that. And I will keep doing it until I'm heard. Yes.
And you get more confidence doing that,
exactly,
which is amazing.
And it's also a confidence booster when you know what you're talking about.
Yes, yeah.
That's so true.
Yeah, and it's that saying as well, like, if you don't ask, you don't get.
Exactly.
Like, you got to open your mouth. So the show's really around breaking the molds. So we know that it's all about putting an end to sort of a restrictive pattern. What would your advice for our audience be in actually breaking that mold, like making your voice heard and progressing within your career?
Yes. So as human beings, we put ourselves into our own branded packaging. You know, the way we expect to behave, the way society expects us to behave, challenge this way of thinking and let your own brilliance shine through. Working in the corporate world is tough. I don't succumb to behaving in a certain way or, in a certain leadership style. I let my own unique style come through. I think for me, I believe, be yourself in a world full of Kardashians,
Now you're talking my language, girl.
Let your own unique self shine through.
Oh no, I think that's important. It's that uniqueness and that inner passion that you have to progress in your career.
Yes.
I would like to ask you, what are your views on planning your career far ahead in this time and age?
So it's important to remain relevant, as I mentioned, and watch out for trends that will have an impact on what skills are required in the future. Network with the right people and keep building your own personal brand. Keep learning, but not to a point where you're not applying those learnings to your daily life. And parents with kids, also inspire them to be creative. A creative mind is essential, as everything can be solved, using creativity. The textbook approach is no longer works. There's no cut and clean way to do things. So just inspire creativity.
Yeah, I actually saw something yesterday about how we're educating and that how we, in this frame of mind of going, oh, you got 4 out of 5. Next time, hopefully you'll do a little bit better. And we actually don't empower people through having that creative mindset anymore, and how we have to, how important it is, so that, like, who's going to be the next big inventor and creator?
Yeah. You have to nurture that.
Yes.
And I mean, one thing that Sheryl Sandberg, you see, I've been a lot on her radar. I've been reading a lot about what she has to say. But one of the things that I think is also important, what she mentioned, is that, if you look, for example, at the career, if you plan it way in advance, the technology is not there.
No.
So, it's going to change. And if you plan your career 30 years in advance, it's going to be a very boring journey for you. So you need to kind of adapt with the times. And I think you're a perfect example of that. You started with this plan to be a graphic designer, and you nurtured that, and then you just grew into this digital warrior, and you are really taking on one of the biggest FMCG brands in Africa, which is quite incredible. So kudos to you.
It's amazing. It's amazing. So what's next for you?
For me.
Yes. I'm just going to throw that one in there. Taking over the world.
I'd love to do that. I'm the kind of person where I go with the flow, and I believe, if some door's not open for me yet, be patient. It's not the right time. And when that door finally opens, then yes, that's it. So with regards to my career, I'm going with the flow for now, and let's see where it takes me. But passion drives me and my creativity fuels me, so I'll let that lead me for now.
Oh, no,
Yay.
awesome.
A vrou na my hart. Rarig. Anyway, okay, so you probably know, and you have listened into the show before, so you know that we do this 1 minute witty gamification thing. So Jess is going to do that now. We do have a bit of a problem with the ticker today. So I'm going to try it off mobile, but we've got 1 minute. So starting now, go.
Okay. Eat, pray, or love. Which
Yes.
one?
I think eat.
Which country is your favorite?
I love London, the UK. So Europe is just amazing.
Oh, awesome. So during your graphic design years, what was the funniest feedback that you had from one of your designs?
I think make this JPEG bigger into high res. I was mortified.
Oh no. I saw as well someone on one of your recommendations. Oh no, I have to finish this. Says that you stay calm under pressure. When have you not been calm?
I think when things are going slowly south, I'm not calm. And some of my team members would know this, where I'm like stressed and don't come near me.
And who would you like to live like for a day? If you could be anyone.
Oh, wow.
5, 4.
No, you can't.
3.
You've taken extra time. You're getting extra 15 seconds.
I don't know. I can't.
Oh, okay. Favorite app and why?
My favorite app, I think WhatsApp, as basic as possible. Just keeping in touch with family, and I've got my brother and sister living abroad, so it really makes communication easy. Yeah.
Awesome.
Okay.
Sorry for stealing time.
Okay.
It was a long
Just
question.
time, but you at least got 6 questions done there, so very good.
Yes.
I'm very thrilled. It was so amazing to have you here with us. I think that from my side, I think we've learned quite a bit in terms of, the brave heart that it takes to be out in the industry. Digital is not an easy game. And you really need to be adaptive and all the time. So thank you very much for sharing that journey with us. I really appreciate that.
Yeah, and I mean, from me as well, I really love the theory of eat, pray, love. Like,
Yeah.
I'm going to take that back to the office with me. It was amazing. And it's just, you've really been an inspiration to, and I hope that we've managed to inspire some of the listeners today.
Yes, for sure. And we will be sharing the podcast a little bit later, hopefully today or during the course of tomorrow, so that you all can listen in. And please share your comments and any questions that you might have. How can people get hold of you?
So my Twitter handle is @maylalu, and you can tweet me or inbox me or whatever.
Fantastic.
Honolulu. Anyway, guys, it was awesome having you on the show. Please hashtag us on WITEE Show, so WITEE Show.
And from us, we'll see you next Tuesday. Send us any questions. And this is Jessica McIndoe signing out with
Carmen Murray signing out. Mic drop.
Making a bold statement yet blending into the surrounding suburbs of Melville, 27 Boxes is a realization of edgy design and practical implementation. A radical departure from the shopping malls of our generation, yet not a return to the high streets of our youth. 27 Boxes showcases the best of a shopping centre set in a garden, surrounded by the bohemian suburb that is Melville. 27 Boxes, shop, play, eat.
Have you ever thought about the power of social media? Social media has the power to make your business grow. Grow! Yeah. Why don't you let us manage your social media? Because our business is to see your business grow. Visit us at www.beastownmedia.co.za.